another video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and continue to support this wonderful channel of ours. We have grown so much over the past couple years, and I want to keep the growth going. So let's definitely keep those subscribes up and likes. I hope everyone's being safe out there. It's been some crazy weather and a lot of crazy things going on lately. So I hope everyone's doing okay today. So let's get into it. So you see it, Encore with Kayla and Cameron. If you're familiar with them, you know them from Dancing Dolls originally. Brandy, they used to appear on Lifetime some years ago, and they now have their own show on this app called the Brandon TV, and it stars Cameron, their parents Tina and Mimi. And I thought Mimi really stepped in it the last episodes, but obviously it's definitely been a lot more going on with her and things from these last two episodes. So this is definitely going to be a recap from last week and this week that just aired yesterday. So for last week, it basically continued after Cameron had that big blow up with her mom and just leaving the restaurant and throwing a drink. And I made a video about that because I was saying how, even though I understand she was fed up with her mom and everything, the disrespect that she had for her just wasn't right. When you feel like you have that much anger towards your parents, you should really respectfully remove yourself, because no matter how mad you get, at the end of the day, that's still your parents, and you always want to try your best to have respect. And I'm not saying sometimes you don't make a mistake and you don't sometimes, have your bad moments, but you want to do your best to be respectful to your parents. As the scriptures say, obey your parents, and it may go well with you. So that's something that's definitely important to do. But anyway, to continue the episode after that, Cameron was still mad, having a big fit, and she was almost about to leave the Airbnb that they were staying in for the week that Cameron was going to be at the Madhouse with Abby Miller, because she's starring on Abby Miller's show Madhouse, which I didn't even know about till she brought it up on the Encore show. But yeah, that episode went really well. After Cameron calmed down, she kind of talked a lot of the frustration she had with her mom, how her mom doesn't really hear her out and assumes a lot of things, and it just frustrates her a lot. And Tina kind of just talked to her from a mother's perspective, where she said she was glad to talk to Tina because Tina made her think about some things that she may have not thought about before. And then we turned to Kayla with her first episode with Abby Miller. I was actually surprised at how things went with them, because the history of seeing how Abby Miller is, I thought actually they were going to butt heads, but liked the fact that she gave her the opportunity to explain herself and really show compassion towards her. I think that was really sweet. Because one thing I felt like with Diana and Abby Miller, I get the tough love thing, but sometimes you do need to just sit and find out what's really going on with a person. I think that's a great aspect that Kayla has, where she did take the time out to talk to the dancer and really find out what was deeply rooted and why she wasn't putting all the effort in. But now we go back to this episode that just recently aired yesterday, and I thought that things were kind of moving to a positive time with her, Tina and her mom, and Cameron and her mom, which I knew with Cameron and her mom, it was still kind of, a little misunderstanding with them. But Kayla and Tina, I thought they were kind of growing, which I don't feel they haven't. But it's definitely a lot more work that's going to be needed with them in their therapy, because The episode that came on yesterday, that I watched today, um, it was going okay up until Kayla said basically, I guess she must have vented to that, and her mom just kept bringing it up and talking about it. And the sad part about it all, Kayla just kind of made the comment like, I don't think I can vent to my mom anymore because it seems like when I vent to her, she constantly brings it up over and over again instead of allowing me to just vent at that moment, talk me through it and then kind of just leave it alone. It just keeps coming up over and over. And nobody wants to relive a situation constantly. I mean, you want to be able to talk to your parents or parent about certain aspects of your life. But even me personally, I came to realize you can't vent to everyone. And that even sometimes may include a person that's blood related, your parent, your sister, your cousin. Some people just is not over 10 years. That is some things that just need to be kept in your household and with your household and God. That's the only people that's supposed to know what's going on with you. Sometimes just you need to pray and keep keep going because some people you just can't vent to, and I've had to learn that. One of my closest friends always tell me you have to be careful who you talk to, who you give your personal information to, and that's not for everybody. And I think that's just a learning process for all of us. Some people you just can't trust everything with, but yeah. And then I was completely shocked when I saw Tanya from Little Women come on the show. I didn't even know her and Mimi knew each other, but she was just telling the ins and outs of the reality world and how the things that they should ask for and how they should have been getting residuals. I'm guessing they're not getting any residuals from being on Brangy. Like if it has repeats or whatever, they're not getting paid for those uh times, and they now know what they didn't have. So if they ever did something in the future, like this show or any other show later on down the line, that they know what they supposed to have. But that's not the point that really threw me. What threw me is when Tina decided to, out of nowhere, when Tanya was telling how, and you should probably be familiar with Tanya. She was on Little Women LA, I believe. She was real best friends with Chrissy, I think at the time, and Tara. If you watched the Little Women show, it used to come on a few years ago. But yeah, she had an older daughter on there. She had one daughter. I do remember seeing her on the show a few times, but she was just telling Tina and Mimi how she just got married and how she helped her with her dress and all that stuff. And I guess that must have brought up some old feelings for Tina because, as you know, she wasn't invited to Kayla and Mo's court wedding because Kayla felt as if, I guess, she wasn't supportive of it to the point where she felt she didn't need to be there, even though Mo mom was there and her mother's mother was there. But yeah, I guess Tanya telling her about her daughter brought up old feelings and made her tell her, well, were you invited to your daughter's wedding? Because my daughter didn't invite me to her wedding. And she's saying how everybody else knew about it but her. And the thing is, I do understand that she may still be hurt, but also when you constantly bring something up over and over again, that also brings resentment back and hurt back. The only way to really get through a sensitive situation, no matter what it is each day try your best to not talk about that, like talk about the positive things. But I do truly understand that that really hurted Tina. I mean, as a mother myself, that would hurt me if my daughter didn't invite me to her wedding or a big major thing like being in labor, that is major things in our kids' lives that we would want to be a part of. But at the same time, I do understand Kayla's point of view because having a rough situation with my mom at the time and my mother in law, it was a rough time when me and my husband got married because not that nothing was done for them to act like that, they just made it really hard when it came to our union. They just kind of was being difficult, and I can understand Kayla's side if her mom was being the more difficult at the time, more so than Mo's mom or her mom's mom may have been. That would be understanding as to why she felt what she felt. But I feel like at the same time, when they were in therapy after the session, Tina act like she understood, where she was coming from. But then it's like you reiterate it again. So to be completely honest, it must still need to be some talking done because you're still bringing it up as if it just happened yesterday. So obviously you're not completely over the situation. That's something maybe instead of telling other people, you need to really sit down with your daughter in private and talk to her about it. Also, another thing about Mimi, and I used to love Mimi, was actually one of my favorite on Bring It, Cameron's mom, but I'm starting to realize she really loves. I'm starting to see the truthfulness a little bit of what Kayla said, that she's very two-faced it, because now Tanya brought up when Tina started talking about all the kids and stuff, she said that Mimi told her that she was a bad mother. And I feel like as a friend, if you're really my friend, for one, you wouldn't be telling other people negative things about me. If you felt that about me, that's something you should have told me when we had, as many times as they've been out. I'm sure it should have been something talked about. And I feel like lately Mimi been kind of digging a lot at Tina. I don't know if she's starting not to like her. I don't know if she have some type of jealousy with her. I don't know, but it just seemed like the past every other episode she kind of always saying hurtful things towards her, and I just feel like as a friend, you supposed to be able to be honest with your friend, but you also supposed to consider their feelings at the same time. And I just don't feel like Mimi's doing that. I don't know if it's something behind this of why Mimi's acting the way she is towards Tina, but I guess we will find out next week. I believe it's one more episode before the reunion, so we'll find out where everybody stand after this last episode coming up. I believe it's one more episode on the 22nd. No, I think it's another episode next weekend, then the 22nd. I believe the reunion is after that. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot going on, and definitely I can tell you guys to keep tuning in and we continue to discuss this because it definitely sucks seeing mothers and daughters being so at odds. Nobody never wants to see that. So I definitely hope and pray that they get it together and find some type of peace with their parents, because when your parents aren't here no more, then it's like you're gonna miss the bad and the good times because they're not here. So you guys definitely let me know what you think. Please comment down below. And remember, like, share, and subscribe, and continue to stay safe out there. And I will see you guys next video. Peace.